So guys, here we are, MMA UK News, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So talking about Grapplefest 12. So Grapplefest 12 is here, 3 weeks out. So again, another absolutely unbelievable card that Chris Thompson and the guys at Grapplefest have put on. We've got some of the top grapplers from all over the world, both sides of the world. As I say, we've got guys from Australia, as we're going to hear. We've got people obviously all over Europe, the UK, Ireland, and then all the way over to the States as well. So the full world is going to be represented on Saturday, the 21st of May. So going to be at the usual place, Fusion Nightclub, Fleet Street in Liverpool. Again, an awesome venue, really, really great venue. The spectators are on top of the action. It's very noisy. It's very, very noisy, but everybody knows what they're watching, which is absolutely brilliant. And Grapplefest is always an unbelievable event. So tickets, obviously, I know they're putting tickets out. Fighters do have some tickets availability. So if there is tickets, head over to Grapplefest Facebook page. You'll be able to get the tickets directly from there. Anybody that can't make the event on the evening, then they will have a pay-per-view, which is going to be on Fight TV. So head over to Fight TV. You will get all the details. And again, you can either do it on a monthly subscription, a yearly subscription, or you can actually get a pay-per-view option on it as well. So definitely head over there and get that checked out. So my next guest then is going to be on the show that night. So all the way from down under, Melbourne, Australia. So Brodie Greco. Brodie's going to be up against Tyler Clacey. Again, two unbelievable grapplers. I watched obviously some footage of Brodie all day today. Obviously, there's some videos and so on. So I was getting a little glimpse into what Brodie's going to be doing, hopefully on Saturday, the 21st of May. So, Brodie, listen, absolute pleasure to speak to you, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Stuart. Super excited to talk about the match in Grapplefest. It's a super awesome event coming up. Chris has always put on an amazing card, so I'm glad to be finally make it part of the card and hopefully be just as exciting matchup as the main card.
Definitely. And then obviously you then coming out of Absolute MMA under obviously a couple of legends, obviously Lachlan Giles and obviously Jeremy Skinner. So how's training? What's training like training under these guys?
Training has, since moving to Absolute MMA 3 years ago, training has just been unbelievable. Obviously, 3 years ago, Jeremy wasn't very well known in the jiu-jitsu space before he exploded. So I got to train with him before he was very well known. And then obviously, Lachlan Giles, an incredible teacher, an incredible athlete. The way he teaches, it's just been an unbelievable experience. It's definitely taken my jiu-jitsu to a higher level since moving there full time. Definitely leaps and bounds of where I could have been being in South Australia. So I'm glad to be able to do that and have that opportunity to be able to train with these legends. They put so much effort and time into my development, especially Jeremy as well. Jeremy was always, I would always fly Jeremy in to corner me for any of my professional grappling matches. Unfortunately, he won't be able to be there this time. I can't get him to the UK. But he's always been super supportive and always in my corner, and the same with Lachlan Giles. So I'm very lucky in that retrospect.
Yeah. As I mentioned, obviously, before we came on here, obviously, we had the pleasure of having both Lachlan and Jeremy at separate times over doing a seminar over in Glasgow, up in Scotland. So, obviously, MMBJJ. So, obviously, the guys there got the chance to spend a couple of hours with them and obviously learn a little bit from them. And I think the big thing, I mean, I know one guy was Jack Brown, took a lot from it because obviously Jack Brown is going about just leg locking everybody at the moment. So, and he's been doing it for a few years, but obviously especially when Lachlan came over and was showing him some stuff. So yeah, it took his leg lock game to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's incredible the way they can convey and teach techniques. I know that teaching and being an athlete is two separate things,
Yeah,
and to be able to do both of those together is a very rare occurrence. And I haven't actually had a chance to attend one of Lachlan Giles' seminars purely because I train with him on a day-to-day basis.
yeah,
But when Jeremy was up and coming, I was always helping him out, being his Yuki at his seminar. So I got a really good insight to always be there for his seminar. So I think I've been to and helped him out in five or six, I think five seminars or so. So
yeah,
I see it with him. I see the way he conveys, and Jeremy has taught me a lot for my personal development in terms of teaching, because now as an athlete, I'm starting to teach a little bit more as I travel. And I've learned how to teach and convey techniques a lot better rather than just be like, hey, this is what I do.
yeah.
The way Jeremy teaches, I've been able to convey that and take that into my style. And that's one of the things that people mention when I teach is it's very similar to the way Lachlan and Jeremy teach. So I'm very lucky and thankful for that.
Definitely, definitely. I'd say two really, really great guys. I'd say definitely legends, two legends. So hopefully we'll have them over in the UK again at some point, hopefully in the near future. So, and then
Fingers crossed we can get them both on a Grapplefest card again.
definitely, definitely.
I was,
I know that Lachlan, obviously they were trying. Dante Leon, obviously,
yes,
has been screaming out for a match with Lachlan for quite a while now. So hopefully maybe that could be a possibility at some point in the future.
it was interesting. I remember I was talking to Lachlan about the match. I can't remember who Dante recently fought on the last Grapplefest, and he won the interim belt, whatever you want to call it. And I was talking to Giles afterwards the next day at training, and I'm like, hey, like, you got to fight this guy. Like, I was trying to get him on. I was trying to convince him to get on this card. I was like, hey, like,
Yeah,
fight him on the next card, because I was already in talks with Chris probably 6 months ago, being like, hey, like, I want in on a card. Like, what can I do? So when Chris was just like, yeah, like, we'll get you a match, I was like to Giles, I'm like, yeah, like, let's go, Giles. Like, just trying to convince him to get on the card so I could be on the same card as him.
yeah, yeah. I know that Dante. I mean, I interviewed Dante for the last two Grapple Fests that he was on. So, and that was the thing. Obviously, he had a lot of high regards, a lot of real respect for Lachlan. So it wasn't like it was there was no trash talking. It was just like Lachlan was the champion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got to fight me. So, and then I know that after he won, he was obviously shouting out, "Let's get it on, let's do this." So, fingers crossed. As I say, that could be a possibility in the future. So,
I really hope that match comes together. I think that'll be a very exciting match.
yeah,
A very
yeah,
fast-paced match. So I'd love to see how that goes.
yes,
Obviously, I'm biased with Lachlan Giles, but I think it'll be a very exciting match.
yeah. Definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully that happens. And then, what about you outside of training? What kind of things do you do then outside training? I know that you're probably training a lot, but yeah, what do you like to do outside hobby wise?
Not much. Recently, I'm a chef,
Yeah,
professional chef, so I'm sort of at the highest level of my game for being a chef. It's more so just transitioning. The last 2 or 3 years, obviously, COVID really affected us in Australia with all the lockdown, so I didn't spend much time working. So I got like super into like movies, TV shows. Like I think I've seen everything on Netflix, Stan, like whatever streaming service is available. Like I've probably like cleaned it out during
yeah,
lockdown. But now it's actually something that now that I have a lot more time, because I've just finished up work for 6 months,
mhm,
with the travels coming up, it's just about trying to find those hobbies and how do you call it, like reintegrate into life, because hospitality really took away a lot of my
yeah,
social life and whatnot. So it's just about finding the passions again. Obviously, jiu-jitsu is one of the passions. Been playing a lot of chess lately. Been traveling a lot within
nice,
Australia, so been doing a lot of chess, which has been fun.
yeah.
Definitely less strain on the body.
Yeah, I should probably. You mentioned chess. I should. I've got a very good friend also does jiu-jitsu. He's a purple belt here in Scotland, Andrew Greek, who's a chess world champion.
Oh,
So
amazing!
I should maybe hook you up
I
with
don't
him,
think,
man.
I'm not quite on that level, but always keen for a match.
Yeah, listen, he could maybe show you some chess tips. You could share tips on
Amazing.
jiu-jitsu and chess and things like that. So
Amazing.
he's
That'd be
an awesome
fantastic.
guy as well. I mean, we call him Psycho because obviously, like he's very quiet. He's very like when he comes and does jiu-jitsu, he's quiet and but then you put him in a jiu-jitsu match and he's just an absolute killer. Do you know what I mean? Just terrifying. Do you know what I mean? Some of the things that he can do, and he does it in a nice way. Do you know what I mean? Like a really nice way. So, yeah, we call him Psycho. Not that he's a crazy guy. He's not a crazy guy at all. It's just obviously, you know yourself. Obviously, we've
Yeah,
got
100.
nicknames for people in the gym where maybe not necessarily the kind of character they are and things like that. So,
It can be anything from like a small moment that I've had that it just sticks.
yes, definitely, definitely. And then what about Grapplefest 12 then? So obviously you mentioned obviously you've been in talks for obviously a number of months now, but how did you find out you were going to be on the card for Grapplefest 12? And how did you find out about your opponent that you were going to face on the evening?
Yeah, so I've been planning my move to Austin, Texas for about 9 months now, and I was visiting I'm visiting my friend in Abu Dhabi for a while. Like that was part of the trip, part of the
Yeah,
flight path to Austin, and I was always messaging Chris because I was trying to get on the Aussie Invasion card. I can't remember what number it was back in 2020
yeah,
with where you had everybody from Absolute. That was a great card. So I was always chatting to Chris. I was like, "Hey, like, when's your next card?" And I remember I think about December of last year, I sent Chris a message, and I'm like, "Hey, like, what can I do to get on a card? When are your cards for next year, so I can sort of plan my land in Austin after Grapplefest?" I think maybe I think he had an event in February.
February, yeah,
Um, so I was just like, hey, he was like February, June. I'm like, I'll touch base after February with him. Sent him a message, and he's basically like, hey, book your flights to Europe, and you're on the card.
nice, nice.
He just wanted some sort of not commitment, but getting out of Australia has been hard for a lot of guys in Australia. So I completely understand from his side of the equation. Like
Yeah,
people are always saying like, I can't imagine what it'd be like for matchmakers. Yeah, give me a match, and then I can't leave or something like that.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like to Chris, I was like, no worries. Like I'll let you know when I book my flights. A couple of weeks later, I was like messaging Chris. I'm like, hey, I'm booking my flights. Like as I was on the website, I was like on Etihad Airways, like looking at the flights, messaging Chris. I was like, hey, like when do your guys usually come? He's like, yeah, they come on a Wednesday. I'm like, oh, no worries. There's a flight. I like land in London at 7:00. And he's like, no worries. It's like a 3-hour train to Liverpool. I'm like, sick. Flight's booked. Send him a screenshot. And he's like, boom, you're on the card.
Nice, nice. It's going to be an awesome card as well. I mean, Chris is obviously during lockdown. I put a video up earlier today. Me and Chris spoke. We did an interview, one of the 1 hour long interviews, and we chatted about obviously Grapplefest, and because obviously at the time when the restrictions came in, obviously the UK got hit very very bad in regards to restrictions. So it gave Chris time and the guys at Grapplefest time to think what kind of matchups are we going to have? What would be like dream matchups? How would we be able to do this and so on? So he's planned a lot of these events, as you said. I mean, he was talking to you 6 months ago, so he's planned all these events ahead of time, so he knows who he wants on what show and things like that. So he's like a mad scientist when it comes to putting cards together.
Yeah, it's incredible. The cards he puts together is just crazy. And I did see you post that interview today, and I think today or yesterday, and I actually saved it. I'm like, hey, like that's on my list to watch. It's been a crazy few weeks for myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like behind on everything, including sleep. But it's on my list of things to do next week when I land in Sydney with Jeremy, and I'm a little bit like relaxed R&R. Just got
Yeah.
focusing for my upcoming match just before Grapplefest, and obviously the Grapplefest match in 3 weeks. So that should be good.
Definitely. So what kind of obviously Grapplefest will be your main focus What would you like to see yourself doing for the rest of 2022? Now that we are allowed to travel, we're now allowed to compete and do competitions and so on, and we're now allowed to train properly. So what would you like to see yourself doing, Brodie, 2022?
Yeah, amazing. So actually next weekend I have a match in Adelaide in my hometown. It's more of a regional, it's a local show, but it's a professional grappling card. They're doing some amazing things. Shout out to M16 Open in Adelaide. So I've got that. That obviously hasn't been my major focus, of course, because obviously Grapplefest has been the major focus. So that's just sort of a byproduct of it happening. It's interesting that the Grapplefest match came up because I had a match next weekend, and then the following weekend I was supposed to fly to another state and have another match. And then Chris was like May 21st, and I was like 100% doing that, but I'm like 3 matches, 3 weekends. I was like, fuck. Unfortunately, I had to withdraw for one of those cards, the one in the middle, to give myself a break, because obviously Grapplefest was the major focus. So I didn't want to go into that injured or even just fatigued. So I just needed to give myself. But so after Grapplefest, I fly to Austin, Texas to train with Craig Jones.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there for about 4 to 5 months. I land on June the 1st, and my flight out is in October the 15th or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there training with Craig. That's sort of just an adventure in itself. Who knows? I don't know what that doors that opportunity opens. Just being in the US will open a lot of doors for me, because as you know, coming from Australia, it's instant 20-hour flight, instant $2,000 for us, especially for us upcoming grapplers. It gets quite expensive. Paying for all these flights, I'm always happy to pay for this stuff, but it gets pricey when I'm flying to London and Liverpool and whatnot. So I guess we'll just see where that goes, but 2022 is going to be a big year for myself. It's already been a big year. I recently won another big match on BOA Super 8 in Australia. I don't know if you managed to catch that.
Saw that,
which was an amazing card. So I'm already I'm riding that wave into the rest of 2022. But who knows? Hopefully I can forge a really good relationship with Chris. Have an exciting match this weekend. Win or lose, I'm looking to put on a show and entertain the grapplers, and hopefully Chris invites me back and build a good relationship there. And if Chris is keen to have me, I'm keen to be on every card moving forward. So
definitely. Well, listen, we're looking forward to seeing you. I mean, anybody that, obviously, if you want to see a little bit of Brodie, a little bit of what he's going to bring, as they definitely have a look online. There's obviously videos of him on YouTube. The one thing about Brodie as well, Brodie is a finisher, right? So Brodie's not a guy that's going to stall out for points and stuff like that. And that's why this is the kind of matchups that Chris puts on Grapplefest, guys who will come over here and finish fights. And this is something that Brodie is, as I said, he's definitely going to be hunting for the submission. So there's going to be no stalling, there's going to be no backward steps, there's going to be no playing for points and stuff like that. Brodie is coming to finish the job.
Yeah, 100%. It's just the mindset, the way I see it is if it goes to the judge's decision or even ref's decision or even points, that's just boring. I think early in jiu-jitsu, I just started finishing matches, and I was like, this is great. Especially with tournaments where you can have 5 or 6 matches, I'm just I want to finish as quick as possible, because I want to be fresh for the next opponent. And then it just transitioned into my professional grappling career. I just want to finish it as quick as possible. I don't want to sit there and have a 10-minute match with you. I'm more than happy to, but I want to be done in 5-6 minutes max tops. But I just want to create. It's funny. One of my coaches, I was talking about the lead up to Grapplefest. I was like, hey, I don't know anything about Tyler. What should I do? What should be the game plan? And I remember Macau, one of the black belts, Absolute MMA, is just create chaos. He's like, whenever you create chaos, you seem to win and exceptional. So he's just focus on just creating chaos and finishing.
Do you know, I love that. I love that. Just go out and create chaos. Do you know what I mean? That's brilliant. That's what the people at Grapplefest want to see. So
Yeah.
we're going to see some chaos Saturday, 21st of May. We're looking forward to it. One question we got come in. So Arnice just saying, other than your inclusion on the night, are there any matchups in particular that you're looking forward to witnessing?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Ash Williams' match. He's always been an exciting grappler. Recently, I've been talking to Ash maybe about 18 months ago. I started because obviously Jeremy was talking to him and always had a high respect for Ash Williams, which is, again, another match I'd love to see, Ash versus Jeremy. I think that's maybe in the works, I hope, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But Ash's match, he always brings exciting matches. He's a finisher as well. Recently, I've adapted some of the stuff he's put into his game into my game, and it's been working. So I'm super excited to look forward to his match. And yeah.
I know that Ash is coming down. He's meant to be heading over to Australia for a little bit. Obviously going to be touring around, doing some seminars and stuff like that. So I can't remember when it was. I'm sure it's before the ADCC.
I think he comes just after.
So just after Grapplefest.
Yeah, I think so, because I miss him in Europe, and then I miss him in Australia. I'm like, fuck. Like, really wanted to just see him. I think I'm seeing him on. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Seeing him on Sunday after Grapplefest to train with him. I think it's the only chance that I'm going to get.
Yeah. Listen, he's an awesome guy. He's very, very similar to you. See, when I messaged Ash, he was going to be on an event in Scotland, an event called Evolution of Combat. So I remember messaging him. It was Valentine's Day. And I messaged him, I think it was about 5 o'clock in the evening. And he said, and normally what I do is I usually message and then usually set up an interview for a couple of hours. Obviously, when I messaged you, it was 5:30 in the morning, Australian time. So, but then I think you got up about 8:30, or you messaged me back about 8:30 and said, let's do this in an hour's time. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And then Ash Williams was sitting having dinner with his wife. And when I messaged him 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I said to him, Ash, can we set up an interview a couple of days? And he's like, well, what they do is give me an hour, let me finish my dinner, and then I'll be straight with you. And I was like, you sure? Obviously, you're having Valentine's dinner with your wife and things like that. And he's like, no, this will be her Valentine's present. So he sat and done an interview with me for 15, 20 minutes or so on Valentine's Day. And it was done very, very quickly. There was no messing about. It was just, let's get the interview done, and that's it. So, as if very similar to you, not Valentine's Day, but just let's do it right now. So, but yeah, you'll definitely enjoy training with Ash Williams. Really, really nice guy. Just an awesome grappler, very technical. So yeah, you will enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy it. So
I'm super excited. I remember he was supposed to come to Australia in January. I think that was actually M16 Open was doing a 4-man black belt tournament with Jeremy, Mikhail, Ash, and I believe a guy called MMA fighter called Rod Costa. So they were doing a massive black belt thing, and they'll bring Ash over. I think they'll bring his brother over. And I was like, I can't wait, because obviously he was traveling around Australia, and I was at the point in my career where I was also doing a little bit of travel to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. So I was like, I get to see Ash in like all of these states, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So I missed out on him doing that, and then I'm flying to the UK, and I miss him there, and I just hope to be able to catch up with him for a day. So I'm super excited about that, to pick his brain about some things in my game that I won't reveal just yet. Hopefully, you guys will see that on Saturday, May 21st.
Definitely, definitely. And then final thing for you then, Brodie. So obviously you've been in the game for a while. Obviously you've been training. I mean, we mentioned a couple, Lachlan and Jeremy. So you've been fortunate enough to train with some awesome people. But anybody you want to shout out to? So the usual friends, family members, teammates, or even any sponsors that you may have, Brodie.
Perfect. Well, I'll start with shouting out Jeremy and Lachlan Giles. Obviously, they've been a huge part of my career so far. Just being with them has opened so many doors and opportunities around the world for matches, for training, for seminars, for myself. Like, it's just been incredible. My friends and family in Adelaide, the original team that I started with, the guys, every time I train to come to Adelaide, Lachlan Conway has always welcomed me at Beachside Jiu-Jitsu and his team. Obviously, during COVID, those guys were still training in Adelaide, so I was sneaking across the border because I was still a resident. So I was like in between Melbourne. Every time Melbourne went into lockdown, I was in Adelaide. So shout out to Lachlan Conway and Beachside Jiu-Jitsu for allowing me to come down on the team, and my sponsors, which without them, none of this would be possible, as they provide huge support. You got Fightback CBD in the USA, who have been incredible. The things he does for me is like financially. CBD oil has like changed my game sleeping wise.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, I have Mouthguard Company, Melbourne Smiles, and Denture Clinic. They keep my teeth non-broken. Delco Constructions, you guys have helped me. They've been helping me with flights around Australia and internationally, which has been incredible. And then a new one, Sub Club, which is a friend at Jiu-Jitsu in Absolute MMA. So they've been come on board, help me financially just get around Australia. So shout out to you guys. Without my sponsors, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today because it's expensive. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Nah, that's an awesome team, awesome bunch of people you've got around you. Not just jiu-jitsu, but you mentioned obviously the sponsors and stuff like that. So it's always brilliant to see the people that everybody has around them. So so guys, looking forward to this then. So Brodie Greco, Absolute MMA, is going to be up against Tyler Clacey. Tyler fighting out of Checkmat Poznan. So they're going to be going head to head Saturday, the 21st of May. Going to be Grapplefest 12, Fusion Nightclub in Liverpool. Again, tickets, head over to Grapplefest Facebook page, and it'll be able to let you know about the tickets there. And anybody that wants to see it on pay-per-view, head over to the Grapplefest Facebook page. It'll take you through a Fight TV and 3 options. You've either got a monthly option, a yearly subscription, or you can get this on pay-per-view. So definitely make sure you're watching this. It's going to be absolute fireworks, or as Brodie said, it's going to be chaos. So so Brodie, listen, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for obviously setting this up so quickly.
That's all good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you giving me the platform to create a little bit more exposure in the UK, and obviously what you do for the grapplers is going to be incredible. Just giving us the opportunity to chat, the exposure for us is always great. Like any exposure for us is going to be great, especially for us up and coming grapplers. Sometimes we're forgotten about. So I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me, and I look forward to seeing you in the UK when I'm there.
Perfect. Well, listen, thank you again. Enjoy your trip over. Enjoy next weekend, obviously, the competition. So I hope all goes well for you. And yeah, we'll see you on the 21st of May, buddy. All right.
For sure. Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care.